actually have Susie, just have Victoria and then our little break, and then have Susie just immediately before the break. Right.
Oh, I've got her here now.
Oh, okay, good.
Let music be the thing that moves us. And in relation to that, I'd like to introduce Sue G, an Australian feminist singer-songwriter who writes songs full of profound messages. And you heard the stories of the suffragists in Europe, and Sue has researched and written a song and written the music about a very important suffragette here in Australia, and Sue will tell you the story of Louisa Lawson.
Hello. Thank you, Margaret. Apologies, I have to sit down. I've got a borrowed guitar because I've come from Sydney for this congress. And this guitar hasn't got a strap. And I wrote this song about 30 years ago. I had a project. I don't know if any of you have heard of a much more famous singer-songwriter from Victoria called Judy Small. So at the time, about 30 years ago, I wanted to be Judy Small. So I set out to write a series of songs about the suffragists movement in Australia. I actually wrote 2 songs in the end, and a few other songs about other Australian women. So this one's about Louisa Lawson, who was not just Henry Lawson's mother, not just Peter Larson's wife, but a feminist and an activist in her own right, and who, had a very hard life and very poor beginnings. So this is the story of her life and the work that she did. It's called Not Just Henry's Mother, and it is on my CD, which is for sale up the other end of the hall. Right. Born into a life of struggle, young Louisa knew poverty. Her father tried to hold her back, but she strained to be free. She wasn't meant to labour with her hands, but to find a different way. She was destined for a public path, to give all women their say. She married a Norwegian sailor to escape her life of toil. They had 4 kids but moved around in search of farming soil. Alas, she failed to recognise the gold fever in his eyes. That she could not have a life with him, she soon came to realise. She was not just Henry's mother, she was not just Peter's wife. Louisa Lawson fought for justice for all women and a better life. She was not just Henry's mother, she was not just Peter's wife. Louisa Lawson fought for suffrage for all women and a better life. Oh dear. Louisa moved to Sydney for a new life on her own. Thank you very much. Louisa moved to Sydney for a new life on her own. She and Henry struggled to provide the children with a home. And mother and son joined forces with the radicals of the age to advocate for women's rights and for workers a decent wage. Votes for women was the cry of many thinkers of that day. She started her own magazine, The Dawn, to lead the way. Her cutting words soon made their mark on opponents of her views. She wasn't one to mince her words or with silver tongue to woo. She was not just Henry's mother, she was not just Peter's wife. Louisa Lawson fought for justice for all women and a better life. She was not just Henry's mother, she was not just Peter's wife. Louisa Lawson fought for suffrage for all women and a better life. Louisa formed the Dawn Club to lobby for the vote. It was a long and bitter struggle to gain suffrage in each state. Her fiery speeches didn't always win her many friends, but she always held the banner high until the very end. She was a leader among the women who marched to Parliament side by side to convince the men that women could no longer be denied. In 1902, the Women's Suffrage Bill was passed, and now all women in the land their votes can proudly cast. She was not just Henry's mother, she was not just Peter's wife. Louisa Lawson fought for justice for all women and a better life. She was not just Henry's mother, she was not just Peter's wife. Louisa Lawson fought for suffrage for all women and a better life. Thank you very much.
The somewhat poignant thing about that song is that my husband is called Peter and my son is called Henry.
Amazing synchronicity.
Yeah.